So our next topic: why is it that women often stay too long in relationships? And of course, we may have to decide what too long is, or why do women stay longer than they
6 inches.
should? Okay.
Where's the data coming from that they do stay too long?
6 inches is too long.
Well,
Oh, here come Tony with the data. Tony say, "Where's the stat?" He say, "Give me the numbers."
well,
And I need clarity. We talking about those
He
who
say,
stay
"How
too
do you
long and
quantify too long?"
too long in like poor relationships where they should not be staying, or like just in general.
that's what I mean, like in bad relationships.
So
And
basically,
Okay.
it's like
not marriages. I'm not so much talking about marriages. I'm talking about prior to marriage, like in relationships. Like there are women who will be with a man that's beating on them. There are women, I mean, that's a little deeper. We know that there are all types of issues with that. But like they'll be with a man that's constantly cheating, or they'll be with a man that for 10 years and still not married to him. Like why do women stay longer than they should? Like, and not everyone wants to get married, but let's say she does want to get married, and it's been 7, 8, 9 years and they're of age to marry and they're not married. Or this is a man who constantly disrespects her, wherever you want to take it. What would be your response? Why do women stay longer than they should? Or do y'all not think that women stay longer?
It's kind
Oh
of
yeah,
tough.
that's a good
You,
question.
you,
I think
you want to go, Tony?
I go. It's a lot of reasons why I feel like women stay longer than they should, and a lot of them just not necessarily popular reasons, but a lot of times they stay longer than they should because that's what they like. That's what they qualify for. Like that's the type of dude you qualify for, a bum ass nigga, because you're a bum ass chick. A lot of times, I'm not saying all the time, but close your mouth, Cannon. I'm just saying if that's the situation, a lot of times you were like, he like you said earlier, like let's take the extreme, like he beats on me, he cheats on me and stuff like that. But you stealing money out of sock when he's sleeping, you cheat, you hitting his best friend or something like that. So it's like it's not always one sided with that thing. Like sometimes water seeps at his own level. So a lot of times if you're dealing with a dude like that, it's probably because you can't do better. You could, but you choose not to. You could, but
Well, but you said you can't do better. So which one is it? They can't do better. Like,
it's sometimes you can't do better for other reasons. Like it can be attracting this level. Like you can't, like you rather deal with the Pookie and Ray Ray, or you have to because you can't get the dude that you really want because the dude's not messing with you for
oh,
whatever
okay,
reason. So that's the you can't help it, but it's always something you can do to kind of improve yourself. But I'm going by the greater majority. So
okay.
you can have somebody who's not attractive at all and get a guy. There is a guy that don't care nothing about looks. Not many of them, but I'm gonna say one out of 500, something like that. So if you can find that 1 out of 500, then you can look like whatever you want to look like. But chances
Okay.
are somebody just snatched them up already. You know.
Okay. So you think that they really, like, these are women that kind of know that they can't, or think that they can't do better, or because of their looks they think they can do better? It's interesting you say that because, like, I know a lot of guys think women rate themselves higher than what a man would.
Yeah.
Um, and like a lot of women think, I'm just the finest thing. So,
Mm-mm.
but you're saying some women do feel like, oh, maybe I can't do better.
I think if women rated themselves appropriately, they could get higher, better women. Like a woman who is really, for example, a 5, which is nothing wrong with that, is calling herself a 10. She's not going to get the dude she deserves that she should be with because she's looking for a 10 status dude when you should be
Okay.
looking at a dude that has a good job, that's decent, that's going to treat you decent. That's it. But she's like, I deserve better than that. I want my yacht. I'm on a 10. Like that's not
Okay.
true. So you're missing out on your husband because your head is somewhere else, you know. So I think if
Okay.
you brought that mental down to the level of reality, they would do better and be happier.
Okay. So women stay longer so sometimes women stay longer because they feel like they can't do better, is in a nutshell.
Lack of options.
Okay.
Lack
All
of
right.
options.
What y'all think? What y'all thinking?
I think that that a lot of times what happens is that it's the investment or the amount of time that a woman has maybe put into the relationship. So she may find it difficult to I feel like it has a lot to do with hope, holding out hope, right? Holding out hope that the relationship is going to change or the relationship is going to get better. So I feel like it's that false hope that will keep a woman longer than she probably needs to, because she's hoping that, you know, things are going to change, especially with the amount of time and investment that she's put into the relationship. And so she's just like constantly hoping that stuff will change. And I think it takes until she just realizes that it's not. And once she accepts that, then I think that's when a lot of women end up moving on. But I think that that's what it is, that a lot of women will try to just be like, okay, well, it's going to change. You know, things are going to improve. Because I also think, I think that there's something to be said about what Tony said as far as people are maybe with people that they attract in some way, because it may not even be that they're just as, that they have the same type of issues as the person. It may just be that they have traumas that the other person is able to exploit, or that, you know what I mean? Because they have whatever they have going on. So I think that in that instance, especially if that person is working on themselves, then they'll be like, well, I'm getting better, so, you know, he'll get better too. You know, like they look at themselves and say, well, you know, I've made mistakes, so I've been this kind of person now. I changed, so maybe he'll change too. And I mean, they'd be like, I love him.
Yeah.
Period.
So holding out on hope, not feeling like they can do better, or kind of just saying, I got issues. And I kind of agree with what you were saying, Tony. Like sometimes people are just so used to toxicity and just issues and drama. They bring it themselves, and that's just like all they know, you know, and it's like they don't even know anything else. So I don't know. And then I think some women kind of like it. So, you know,
they're attracted to it for sure.
yeah. Or some women, I also think sometimes people think, well, why leave this relationship for another bad one? Like their minds are so like jaded toward relationship and jaded toward men. Maybe they are just like, well, what's the point of leaving this one for another one?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What you think, Dakotas? What you think? I'm you.
You guys brought up some great points. I do think, you know, everybody, it's a nuance to it. No one knows why any woman stays, quote unquote, too long, because as we agreed, long is subjective compared to what somebody outside the relationship would think is too long. But I think, like you said, all the things you guys mentioned included, and then of course wanting to hold your man down and things like that. It is socially ingrained in us to stick with the man through thick and thin, accept a little bit more than we should, you know, because we're supposed to. But you know, all those things could be an answer. We just wouldn't know until we talk to that particular woman.
Okay, that's true. All right. What do you think, Jova?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback on what Raven said, I think that Black women are raised from a very young age about, you know, especially if you were raised in like a Black Christian home like I was. You're raised long suffering, like you got to stick by the man, you got to stick by the situation. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And literally, like I remember this scene from the movie that is from the play Fences, and he comes home and he tells his wife that, right, Kenny? Yeah,
why are you trying to trigger me?
I got a baby on the way. By the way, I'm gonna be somebody daddy. And what does she do? She kind of has this breakdown and tells him, "I've been standing with you." And then and some of those scenes following that, what
No, Ms. Jova, hold on. No, you got no. I got to pause right there. You got to say it right. He told her that this other woman made him feel good down to the bottom soles of his feet.
That's what he said. He said the other woman gives him different ideas. And so that's what and I thought, yeah, gives him different ideas. And so, then you see Viola Davis's character run to the church house, and she's at the altar on her knees with the women with their hands on her, and they praying over her, and she just sticking by this, and this man, the baby comes, and the mother's baby doesn't make it or whatever through the birthing process, but she's raising the mistresses, the former mistresses child that she has with her husband, and she's raising this child, and this child grows up to call her mama. Like, Black women have been doing this for centuries. It has been ingrained in us. And so I think a lot of women, if depending upon the family you grew up in, this is what you were taught. You were taught to hold on. Change is coming. Be a faithful wife, and he gonna get it together. And then 5 years come on, 10 years come along, and like, 2 baby mamas and 1 mistress later, he ain't got it right. But Black women taught to hold on, especially in a society where we're told that we don't have our men's backs anyway. So I think that's why they stay.
I agree. I think it changed a little bit. As we all know, women are filing for more divorces now. But definitely back in the day, up until maybe like the 60s or 70s, that was the mindset. And I think that it lingered for a while. Like, I have a neighbor, she's 85, and she was telling me that her husband, was a pastor or a minister, one of them. I don't know. I can't remember if he was pastor or just a minister, but he was in the church, and they were together for decades. And these were her words. What did she say? I forgot the exact words, but basically he was a mess. Like, he was dogging her out. Like, everybody knew he was cheating. And her thing was, well, he kept a roof over my head. He kept a roof over she still worked, but he was the main provider. And she was like, yeah, he put me through. That's what she said. He put me through a lot. And I asked her, well, what do you mean? And she didn't want to give me too much detail, but basically she said that, he was a cheater. He was everybody's man, And I think there was a time when women stuck through because of why she stuck through, because of the financial stability. And we are just not I don't think women necessarily need to stay with a man for financial stability right now. Some do, but I don't think that's as common as it used to be back in the day, where women were pretty much, lower level or lower skill. They had lower skill jobs that didn't make as much money. But I also think there's a little bit of pressure too from the church. Like, if you grew up in the church, or if you grew up in a more traditional household, to stay, because it's like, you're married, you're not supposed to leave your husband. But even before marriage, I think people kind of have that thought, and it's like, I don't want to be the woman that ain't got a man,
Yeah, I was just about to say that's a good point. I think that's another part of it too, because think about it. Are men shamed for not having a woman, or is it women that shamed for not being able to keep a man? Nobody says to a man, you can't keep a woman. They always say to a woman, you can't keep a man. So I do think that women are shamed more often, and their worth, even if it's subconscious, a lot of time is tied to their desirability or the perception of their desirability from a man. And that's why